In the previous clip, we defined a new custom type to send on-click messages of a button. Let's have a closer look at custom types and use them to add more buttons to our shopping cart web app. Custom types are about creating new data types in addition to the default data types such as Boolean or integer. A custom type defines a constrained set of possible variants which the type might have. Think of variants as special kinds of values. When defining a custom type, the possible variants are separated by the pipe symbol, which we can interpret as OR. For example, we can define a new custom type named message, which has 3 variants, A or B or C. A value of type message is restricted to any of these 3 possible variants. Custom types are especially useful since they can serve as input to if and case expressions. For example, the above message custom type can be used as input to a case expression with 3 possible branches, which matches nicely the 3 possible variants, A or B or C. Type aliases are very different from custom types. In contrast to them, type aliases are about assigning new names to existing types. Watch out, it's just a new name, not a new type. The whole point of type aliases is to reduce code repetition and make the code easier to understand by giving a new name to a lengthy type definition. They are especially useful for records, since records can have many fields of various types, which creates a lot of clutter when those records are used as parameters for other functions. For example, think about the records we use for each product in the shopping cart. Although the record has just 3 fields, it's still a bit cumbersome to use. Instead, we can define a new type alias and reduce code repetition. Let's have a demo to see custom types and type aliases in action. First, we are going to add 2 more buttons to the web app. A button to decrement quantities and another button to reset quantities back to their initial values. These 2 new buttons must send different messages, so we need the message custom type to include 2 more variants. Second, we are going to reduce code repetition and make the code easier to read with the help of type aliases. On the demo machine, switch to Visual Studio Code. Before adding the 2 extra buttons, let's take care of their corresponding on-click messages. Use Ctrl-click on increment quantities to go to its definition. Add 2 more variants for the message custom type: decrement quantities and reset quantities, separated by pipes. Save the file. Ctrl-click again on increment quantities to see its references. Double-click here to go to the button. To add the 2 extra buttons, copy this line and paste it twice. Then change the on-click message to decrement quantities and the button text to decrease quantities. For the last button, set the on-click message to reset quantities and the text to reset quantities. The new buttons send messages when clicked, and we need to add their corresponding logic in the update function to modify the model. Let's replace the if with a case expression. Case message of increment quantities, arrow, and the previous logic to increment each quantity. The next branch is decrement quantities, arrow. The actual code is very similar to the previous branch, so copy and paste it, then modify to -1 instead of +1, so that each quantity is decreased with 1 when clicking the button. The last branch is reset quantities, arrow, and the initial values which are returned by products model. Save the file, switch to the browser, and refresh the page. Now we have 3 buttons. The increase button is still working, the decrease button works as expected, and the reset button restores the initial values. Perfect. Next, let's use type aliases in our code. Notice that products model is a list of product records. Let's define a new type alias for product. Type alias product equal to the record definition, which we can copy and paste. Furthermore, the model of our shopping cart is a list of products. We can make this explicit by defining a new type alias named model equal to a list of products. Now we can replace this list with model. Let's add type annotations to cart view. Press Ctrl Dot, add inferred annotation, and replace the list with model. This makes it clear that the view takes a model and returns some HTML with a new custom type for the on-click events. Let's do the same for the update function. Ctrl Dot, add inferred notation, then replace the list with model, which makes it clear update takes our new custom type, a model, and returns a model. Finally, do the same for item view, which takes a product as input and returns some HTML stuff. Now we can save the file. Next, let's add some styling to the web app to make it look better.